Okay, guys and gals, this is just going to be a quickie on how to do some custom standoffs for your flight controller, because we can't always find the right size little guys, right? And it's a pain in the butt trying to piece them all together to get it to fit in whatever build. In chat the other day, a guy was trying to cut a freaking standoff in half, to make a custom mount. So I actually did a video on this a while back, but who scrolls back in anybody? Who scroll? You know, it was like a couple years ago. Nobody scrolls back that far. But anyway, blah 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 blah. So what we have here is we have some silicone tubing. Make sure it's silicone, not the hard kind. You want the squishy silicone. I believe this is like RC nitro fuel tubing for like cars and airplanes and stuff. I'm not 100%. I'm sure you just find silicone tubing. That's, you know, like the size that will fit over an M3 screw. I bought this, I think it was like $2 for like a meter of it, and I've had it for like 2 years. And then what I have here is a bag of 25mm plastic screws. Now I know a lot of guys are going to metal screws for their flight controller, but doing this method, I don't recall ever snapping one of these, so if I did, it was only one or two, or I don't ever recall breaking one. So individually, yeah, they're not that strong, and I'm going to show you something else too, but all together they work well. So all you do is you cut 4 little pieces of the tubing like so, right? And then you're going to slip it obviously through the frame and whatever size you need, and then you just make your stack. So you can make your stack at any size you want, making sure your electronics are clearing the carbon of the frame and each other. But we're kind of limited on the plastic standoffs that we use sometimes because they just don't have the exact right size we need. So when you use all 4 of them together, here's the ticket, right? Only don't put a nut in between anywhere. Only use the silicone tubing to make your stack, and only put a nut on the very end. This way the whole thing is, as soon as you put a nut on there, like if you put it through the frame and then put a nut on there, that makes a stiff spot, and that makes a breaking point. You want all 4 of them to only use the silicone tubing, and then just stick a nut on the end. And then what you do, once you have them in there and you know how high you need everything and everything's good, you just clip the little dudes off. Boop! And you have your custom length, custom size, everything that you need, and down to the millimeter, you know, because the plastic ones don't give any. So plastic ones are set at 5mm, and maybe a 4mm will clear. You can have a 4 and a 3mm, you know, whatever, so that it all fits perfectly and custom. And the other thing is when you screw them down on there, you know, of course you can squish everything down a little bit, so you can really make the exact customs. It's really great for low riders and mid mounts and stuff like that, where it's really hard to find the correct size of those stupid plastic standoffs. The other thing is, I hate those. I don't hate them, but those plastic standoffs always seem to freaking snap off right at the screw end, don't they? I don't seem to have any right here on hand at the moment, but they always snap right where they screw together, right? So this, hopefully that helps not snap. So then when you have all 4 of them together, your flight controller is completely soft mounted all the way through, but the screws without the nut on there, all 4 of them have enough flex and give that they won't break on you in an impact. And also, if one should happen to break, it's super easy to replace this, because you don't have to unscrew anything. It just slips right. The tubing will actually stay in place, right? I know this because I've had to redo, not because one broke, but just from working on stuff. that tubing will actually stay in place when you take the nut off, and you can just run another screw in there. It's super simple. But when all 4 of them are together, as you can see, then it's not too much wiggle, but it's enough wiggle where it's not too much wiggle to make your gyro freak out. It's perfectly soft mounted. And then just watch as you screw your nuts down that you don't squeeze everything too far and your electronics touch together. You know, just keep an eye on that. And like I said, when all 4 of them are working together, they work perfect. And I don't ever recall breaking one of those guys. So there you go. That's how to custom mount a flight controller without having to dig through piles of standoffs and try to figure out how to puzzle piece everything together. Hope that helps somebody out. Peace!